Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. This is Sapna here. Hope you all are staying safe and staying indoors. And this is a time when most of us run short of many of our art supplies or paints, isn't it? But for a boost of creative motivation and inspiration during this time, even an instant coffee is enough, isn't it? But instead of having a sip of coffee, we are going to create an artwork using this instant coffee. So all we need is a paper. I've taken a watercolor paper and instant coffee powder and water, and of course a pencil to draw a basic outline of the design. I don't need any thick marks or lines of the design, so I'm just slightly drawing the rough outline. This lady will be on the front ground, and also I need a background with a horizon line and a tree. I'm just fixing the positions of all the elements that is needed in this picture. Now we kind of got the blueprint of the design and we have fixed all the elements of the drawing, and it's time to mix the coffee. I've taken two different amounts of coffee powder in these two different plates, and on the one with lesser amount of coffee, I'm adding a little bit more water and diluting it thoroughly so that there is no lumps left. If you're trying out coffee art for the first time, you can definitely refer a few of my previous coffee art videos. I'll share the links in the description below. Since I'm using a watercolor paper, I'm fixing the borders of the paper so that even if the paper is wet, I can get a flat surface. So the diluted coffee in this plate will be my current paint, and whenever I need a thicker shade, I'll add few more coffee powder and make it thicker. As the consistency gets thicker, we'll get a darker brown shade. To begin with, I'm giving a quick first wash with a very diluted layer, and that's how we get this shade. Now to distinguish each elements of this painting, I'm adding a slightly darker shade for the lady, the tree and the horizon line. I'm using 3 round brushes of size 10, 6 and 4. Make sure each layer is completely dried before adding a slightly darker layer of paint or coffee. This is a very flexible medium to work with but gives excellent results. So even if you're a beginner, you can definitely try this out without any fear of going wrong. Even if you make any slight mistake, you can wipe it off with any paper towel. If the layer has become dried, you can wet that position and wipe off with the paper towel. Here I'm creating a darker marks for these trees and leaves. You can notice here I'm making a wet circular portion and wiping off with a paper towel so you can see the circle portion. And to highlight the sun, I'm just adding a slightly darker shade as outline. Now I'll try to add few details on the sky and the cloud portion. Now moving on to adding another darker layer. to add some details on this pod and for the lady. Now I'm adding some details in the background, horizon, and also on the ground. Here I'm adding some final touch of details on the sky portion with clouds. As you can notice, as I proceed with each layer, I am using a thicker consistency of coffee mix, which gives a darker shade of brown. So in this bottommost portion where I have kept vacant space, I am adding few freehand African patterns. So the painting part is now finished. I thought of adding few more details with a complementing golden shade. For that I am using a metallic golden liner. This step is completely optional, so even if you don't have a liner, it's absolutely fine. Or else if you feel like adding a black outliner, go ahead with adding black details or outlines. Also, there is no restrictions in adding details like adding accessories for her. I'm just adding few thicker lines as her accessories and few detailing on her outfits. This is how I have completed the painting. I'm just removing this borders which I've taped down. To get the complete look of the artwork, I've added a black frame to it, and this is looking absolutely gorgeous, especially with the neutral tone and the African patterns. If you enjoyed watching this tutorial, please don't hesitate to give it a try. You will definitely enjoy this coffee art. Thank you.